Really could have used the Hawkeye shirt a few weeks ago. This is it. This is it. Avengers Infinity War finally comes out this week. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't excited. I mean, why wouldn't I be? This is something a lot of comic book fans never thought they would live to see, a massive event-style crossover movie with all their favorite superheroes, just like in the comics. I mean, even 10 years ago, that was unthinkable. And yet, here we are. Now, I'm not going to go on and make a whole video about what a big deal this is. You already know that already. Lord knows you're probably sick of me saying that this is the culmination of 10 years worth of filmmaking. Avengers Infinity War, the culmination of their 10-year experiment, the climax to 10 years worth of cinematic storytelling from one studio. The culmination of 10 years and 18 films worth of cinematic storytelling for Marvel Studios. But even though I'm excited for this film, and I know Marvel is capable of putting out some good movies, hell, even some great movies, something's been bugging me. I've had this nagging feeling in the back of my mind since they announced Infinity War. It's a question that nobody's really asked up until this point, and I figure what better way to address it than in a YouTube video for all of you guys and gals to see. That question is, what if Avengers Infinity War sucks? I mean, it won't, but it might. It's not going to. Will it? No. Right? For the record, no, I do not think Avengers Infinity War is going to suck. I think it's going to be very, very good. Not like that's going to stop people from rushing to the comments to say something negative about me, but at least I said something up front. Marvel has just proven time after time over the years that they're more than capable of putting out a quality superhero film. Even their lesser releases are still leaps and bounds for whatever passes for a superhero movie before or since. They really are the Pixar of their genre. Sure, not everything Pixar puts out is as high quality as The Incredibles or Toy Story, but even like Cars or The Good Dinosaur is still miles ahead of The Boss Baby or frickin' Minions. But I still think this is something worth speculating, because if something were to go catastrophically wrong, it could have dire consequences not just for future Marvel films, but future superhero movies in general. Hell, future big budget summer movies in general. Now, when I ask what if the movie sucks, what I'm not asking is what if it's a box office bomb. How much money a movie makes does not correlate to the quality of the actual film. It says nothing of whether or not the film is any good. I mean, the Pirates of the Caribbean movies all make $1 billion, and yet only one of them isn't crap. Meanwhile, Blade Runner 2049 is basically a masterpiece and nobody saw it. Besides, Infinity War is already on track to make a whole lot of money, so that's not a concern. And I'm not necessarily referring to the Rotten Tomatoes score either. Just because a film has a high or low rating with the critics doesn't necessarily mean that the audience is gonna feel the same way. I mean, just look at The Last Jedi. That still baffles me to this day, but it just proves that a high RT score doesn't mean a high audience interest. When I ask what if this movie sucks, what I'm asking is what if this film is so bad, so irredeemably awful, that when we leave the theater, we as a society, when we leave the theater, we all collectively have the same feeling that what we just saw was completely and unequivocally abysmal. I'm talking the last two Transformers movies level of bad.
Your car? Huh? Sweetie, hand me my alien gun.
Well, for one thing, it would certainly be shocking as hell. Like I said before, Marvel has never really put out an out-and-out stinker. The worst anyone's ever really said about a Marvel film leaving the theater was, yeah, it was alright, or it wasn't as good as Winter Soldier was. I mean, we might not even know right away that what we just saw was a complete and total disaster. We might leave the theater thinking that it wasn't as good as Winter Soldier, only to find out weeks later that what we saw was total crap. You know, the Phantom Menace effect. I mean, it would certainly change the direction of future Marvel movies to come. Not immediately, mind you, because we still have Ant-Man, we still have Captain Marvel, we still have Avengers 4, but once Phase 3 ends, we might not see Phase 4 for a very long time. I mean, Marvel has done stuff like this before. After Thor: The Dark World got a lukewarm reception, they stopped, took a step back, took their time, reevaluated things, and then moved forward with Thor: Ragnarok under Taika Waititi's hand. So if Infinity War is really that bad, we might not see Phase 4 start until 2021, 2022, or even much later than that. I don't think it would spell the end of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but it would definitely change the way Marvel and even Disney make films like this. And beyond the immediate reaction and the reaction from Marvel and Disney, this would change the way all of Hollywood views cinematic universes in general. Now, remember, think back to 2012. Before the first Avengers movie came out, a lot of Hollywood action movies are trying to be one of three films: The Bourne Supremacy, Batman Begins, and The Dark Knight. They were either trying to be grim and gritty thrillers with quickly edited, shaky cam style fight scenes, or grounded, realistic reboots that delved into the history of a hero and why they chose to do what they do, or have a charismatic villain that pushes the hero to their psychological limits. If you don't believe me, just look at the first three Daniel Craig James Bond films. Really look at them. Casino Royale was basically the Bourne Supremacy meets Batman Begins. Quantum of Solace was pretty much just all the Bourne Supremacy. And then Skyfall was the Dark Knight down to the charismatic villain who pushed James Bond to his psychological limit. Also Home Alone. People forget that the end of Skyfall was pretty much just Home Alone for adults. After the first Avengers movie came out in 2012, pretty much every Hollywood studio decided to rush release a movie with a cinematic universe tie-in, all to compete with Marvel at their own game. And there were varying degrees of success, and by that, I mean pretty much only Kong Skull Island got anywhere close to doing it remotely well. Again, look at a Daniel Craig James Bond film to see just how crazy Hollywood went with the cinematic universe idea. Look at Spectre. Now all of a sudden, all of his films are tied together, they all have some great big connecting thread like a cinematic universe would. I mean, really? Marvel has just proven themselves to be the best at creating a cinematic universe at this level. They proved it with the original Avengers film, and they continue to prove it with each subsequent release. All leading up to Infinity War. If this movie sucks, it would show the world that not even the kings of shared movie continuities can get it right all the time. And if they have major screw-ups like this, what hope is there for anyone else in Hollywood? It could very well lead to the end of cinematic universes and shared movie continuities as we know it. And then James Cameron would be free to release all the Avatar sequels he wants, making nobody happy except him. But again, that's if the movie sucks. And again, I don't think it will. I wrote the script for this video before any Twitter reactions or official reviews were allowed to be posted online. Since writing and before I started filming this, the Twitter reactions were allowed to be posted and they all seemed pretty much positive. Overall, it seems to be people like this film. I am recording this before the official reviews go live, so I don't know what the critics are saying or if there even is a Rotten Tomatoes score. So if there is, by the time I'm done filming this, I'll put it here. If not, we'll just speculate like friends. And let me just stress one final time, I do not think Infinity War is going to suck. I think it's going to be very good. But do any of you guys think it's going to suck? Let me know down below or anywhere on the internet if you think Avengers Infinity War is going to be bad, or if it's going to be really bad enough to crash an entire style of filmmaking. I'm sure you don't think it's going to suck either, and I'm sure the only people who are going to tell me they think it's going to suck are those weirdos who want it to bomb because they think Disney is trying to keep the DC films down. Why do you people still exist in this day and age? Really? Come on. Of course, there are new videos on this channel every Tuesday and Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern is always Wulff Den Live. So make sure you subscribe to see all of that. Like this video and share it with a friend. I don't know what friend you would share it with. Maybe somebody who is excited for Infinity War and you want to take him down a peg. Maybe he's too excited for it and he hasn't thought about what the consequences would be if this film was bad, which it won't be, probably. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you next time.